Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Motorsport Manager. The Timix here. And it is time for our third rookie challenge. I did turn the engine sounds down a little bit more. Felt like they were still just a bit loud in our last session. And next up is Up in Flames. Longer challenge this time, 5 races. And medium difficulty here. The 2016 season has taken a horrific turn for Scuderia Rossini. During the 10th race, their star driver Wexler was involved in a severe crash and sustained severe life-threatening burns. He's in the infirmary for the next few races. Can Rossini get everything ready for his triumphant return? So our objectives are to have Dieter Wexler win the Drivers' Championship. Another player accessory available for new careers if we succeed. Dieter Wexler can't leave the team, and I can't leave the team. And yeah, 5 races, so let's get this going. And this challenge is going to be sort of our tutorial on how to manage a racing team. So if that's not something you're interested in, feel free to go ahead and check out the LITE version, which will have a good chunk, almost all that stuff edited out. But in order to do this intelligently, we're going to need to get to know the various aspects of running a team. Okay, so that pretty much covers the walkthrough of the different screens, what you can look at. And now we've got to think about what moves we're going to make. A couple things right away. Let's get our sponsors set up. And I'm just looking for who's going to give us the most money soon. Now per race, Kashima is the best. But in terms of being over the course of this season, we're only worried about the next 5 races. So because of that, I think FWK over here is actually going to be better. And then Carne Blanco, decent. But I want to go with FWK. Let's get the money now. If this was not a short-term thing, I would probably go with Kashima. Go with the long play. And then we can see we get our upgraded cash flow up to 16.4 million. Now how about our last slot here? Upfront 4 million payment. And I mean, if you look at a per race basis, that's going to be 300 and some per race. Ravelli would again be better in the long term. Peach Plum would be about the same, but Balmina is going to be better for our purposes. So that's a nice little chunk of change. We just added 5 million to the kitty. Now in our finances, we don't care about next year's car, so we want to lower that to the minimum. And now our per race income up to 1.4 million. So that's looking good. The next thing we want to do is slide over to our car spot. Well, first of all, let me look at the staff. Now, one thing you may want to consider is replacing staff from time to time. I think that the main one we'd think about is maybe getting a better designer to design better parts for Wexler's car at this point. But yeah, the only one we're going to upgrade significantly is going to be the engine. Maybe it takes a little bit of time to negotiate a deal, and fairly pricey cost to break Kelly's contract. So I'm going to stick with him. And let's get our parts situated to the cars the way we want them. Pretty much I want the best of everything to be on Wexler's car, and so yeah, those are slightly better brakes. So that's where I want that to be. I don't want, because we're about to go on a race, I don't want to go out with 40% reliability on anything. So we're going to shift that down there. Those two are about even right now. I'm going to leave them as is. Let's take a look at our gearboxes. Again, we've got somebody using a gearbox just isn't up to snuff. We'll switch that one down there. That's the best one we can throw out there at the moment. Wings, again about the same. And of course, there's no need to worry about wouldn't have to worry about putting it on Wexler's car now because he's hurt. But I still want to make sure that we're doing the best we can, that it's set up that way for when he comes back. Okay, I think I'm going to leave the suspension as it is. Let's go back to look at our parts here again. And I'd really like to get this cornering improved, I think. I don't think I want to punch the reliability just yet. I like this one. Plus 10 to the rating and plus 10 to the reliability. So that kind of is a good balanced one. It's the only one that really, none of them give a better low speed corners improvement anyway. It's the only one that bumps it up. So I think we're going to go with that. We're going to build that part. Not going to be ready for a few days after the race, but we've got to pay out that $700K. And you can only design one part at a time. So I'm pretty much, I've got to wait for that to finish before doing anything else. So let's look at what parts we want to improve. And at first of all, let's take a look at our... Yeah, Clark is slightly better at performance than reliability. Hamilton is the same. So we want to switch Clark over to the performance. It's not a huge difference, but it's a difference. Let's clear all these out. And we really want to focus on parts that Wexler is going to have long term. Because if I'm going to replace the part, well, why worry too much about that? And I don't care about Saarinen's parts by comparison. So let's make sure everything Wexler is going to have long term is maxed out. Like to get this best engine. Definitely want to get that reliability going. And let's get that gearbox reliability going. At least for now, we're working on the front wings. Not sure that I want to put any work into those for that reason. But it would be good to work on maxing out the performance for our other parts. The suspension. You know what, I'm not going to work on that reliability yet. It'd be nice to use that eventually, but Saarinen's going to use that, if anybody. And you know, I'm kind of doing this backwards. I should be looking at just Wexler's parts. I'm looking at both drivers' parts. which isn't a bad way in general, but there we go. We can see we can't improve these two at all because they're at max performance, max reliability. So if we're going to work on the performance for those other parts, not the one that we're currently designing there, and then we can do some reliability improvements for those also. And then these two, reliability that nobody's using, but we're going to want to use them when we're able to. I feel pretty close here. I really want to pump up the reliability, especially till I get sure what's going on with these various other parts. So we're not going to get much done on these. They'll improve, but very slowly. But we're going to get the reliability humming along for these. So that's what I'm going to stick with for now. And we are pretty much set. Down here, it's time to continue, advance the timeline, and to see what's ahead of us in Sydney. Good morning, you have an injured driver. You can leave an injured driver at home to recover. Drivers who stay at home heal faster over race weekends. Definitely want to do that. So we're going to go with Saarinen and Espinoza. And which sponsor do we want? I think we're going to finish best case 10th above, 5th or above, 2nd or above. I think Saarinen's going to finish in the top 10. I'm not sure that we're going to be guaranteed of a top 5. So I'm going to go with the sure money. Then we've got our tire selection. Particular rules that we have. You know what? I did not cover the rules. Shame on me. Let's go do that real quick down here at standings. Current rules. Okay. In the WMC, long practice sessions. Practice sessions last 20 minutes, allowing teams plenty of time to perfect their strategy. Qualifying lasts 12 minutes, allowing all teams and drivers the chance to nail the perfect lap. Longer races place more of an emphasis on overall team quality as well as on race strategy, 35 laps on average. Pit stops are normal speed. We do have simultaneous pit stops, so they'll be faster. High merit payments. Big difference in money between the top and bottom teams. Merit payments are handed out at the end of the year, I believe. Points for the top 8. So if you don't finish in the top 8, you do not get anything for it. Double points for the final race of the season. That's going to be important to us. Really going to need Wexler to do well at the end. Normal width slick tires, second highest in performance. Allow us to go quickly, but they cost $25,000 a race. Well, we're in the elite here, so that expense is not something we're going to worry about. Cortez tires are not as fast as Brutus tires, but they last longer. We can choose whatever tires we want. There's 3 dry weather compounds to choose from at each race, and we can choose 15, so we got plenty of tires available. Championship uses both types of safety cars. I'm not sure how that works. Cars cannot refuel during the race. It makes things cheaper, but it also pretty much eliminates fuel strategy in the pit stops. We can't make use of technological improvements for driver aids, so the driver's skill is more important than if those were available. Qualifying decides where drivers start on the grid. And weight stripping is allowed. We can strip down parts to increase performance. I haven't messed around with the weight stripping before, so we'll have to see how that works. And you vote on rule changes as the season progresses, we can see there's going to be a change for next year. We're not really concerned about that. Okay. So let's go back to where we were. What kind of tires do we want? Well, it's looking like heavy rain, so it's probably not going to matter, but it's also looking like it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to err on the side of the super softs. And I think this will work pretty well. Cooler weather will allow the softer tires to perform better, so we're definitely going to want to go with our speed. Part fitting. Unsure. About how all that's going to work. Okay. Tire wear is going to be high. Fuel burn is medium. 41 laps. Going to be out there for a while. Okay. And there we are in Sydney, Australia. Alright, we've got to select drivers for our cars. They're unavailable. And now we're going to deal with setup. Weight stripping. It basically allows you to temporarily sacrifice reliability, gain performance. For this race, I'm not going to do this. You can see we can change each of them individually. I don't know if we can change. Yeah, we can change. There is a way to just knock off some from each of them, like so. I'm not going to mess with it for this race. I want to get a sense for how far reliability is going to go down over the course of the race. And then I might have a better idea. There's really not a lot of performance pressure in this race because Wexler isn't here. So it doesn't really matter that much how we do, other than a little bit of money from the sponsors, etc. We are still going to be in the same situation. I do want to race against Chapman, but other than that, it doesn't matter what else happens. So we're going to skip that. Let's go to car setup. From here you can choose what tires you want your driver to start the race with. That's not what car setup is. It's tire selection. Yeah, the game is confused. This is not tire selection. Well, tire selection is part of it, but good descriptions there of the tires. But let's go ahead and we want to go in to change our setup. The setup uses the mechanic of you got 3 basic things to change, or rather 3 basic aspects over here, but 6 to change over here, and they all have a different impact, and you can save and load setups for a particular track. So for here, let's take a look at what it says about the 3. Downforce panel shows you whether the car favors cornering with high downforce or straights with low downforce. The handling panel allows you to tweak the car's handling in the way which most benefits your driver. Speed balance panel shows you whether the car favors acceleration or top speed. Okay, now this mini game can get a little repetitive, but it's pretty interesting Expected form is going to be about 7, we think, for Espinosa. Her abilities, all that. But the strategy that I use for this, we want to... the green bar is recommended by the mechanic, and it's currently set up. It's always going to be set up to be straight down the middle to begin with. I usually start halfway between the middle of the full bar and the middle of the green bar. So, like for downforce, for example, the middle of the green bar would be here. I'm going to start somewhere around here. And then as we race around the track, we're going to want to make adjustments. Handling, probably going to push a little bit towards the oversteer. Speed balance going to push a little bit towards acceleration. So let's take a look at what each of these does. The front wing angle, you can see it's mostly going to decrease the downforce, which is what we want. The rear wing angle affects downforce along with handling and speed. That's actually not bad right there. Yeah, it's pretty close to where I want it. I'm not even going to adjust any of the other ones yet. Now we get into our tire choice. It's going to give us the car setup tip here. There we go. Car balance panel allows you to make adjustments to the car to accommodate for the track. Each track has an ideal balance, and matching your car to the requirements of the track will earn you a significant reduction in lap time. Tweak your car's balance, then send it out for a run during practice or qualifying in order to find the best setup. Okay, let's take a look at our weather. And it's expected to rain soon, but not right away, so we can get away with using one of our tires. I'm going to use the soft tires. Burn them a little bit at first. Alright, now we want to take a look at Saarinen's setup. You can see the bars are going to be different because the drivers are different. Okay, you're going to want him even further on the downforce side. Okay, handling maybe about here. Want a little bit more oversteer, which I think is softer suspension. Yep. Say maybe about there. And then the speed, maybe about here. So we want more acceleration, which means shorter gear ratios. Let's try that. That's in the general vicinity where we want to be. Saarinen's looking to start off at about a 6. Soft tires again to begin for him. Okay, we are ready to begin our practice session. Here goes nothing. No, I do not want to simulate. I want to take practice. Always want to pause it, send them out right away. And we can see we're trying to get ready for qualifying, not race, at the moment. We could switch to race, which would work towards being better in the race, but not in qualifying. So let's just get some basic feedback here, and we're on our way. You see, we're just going with neutral on our strategy here. We just want to get a feel for things. We're not trying to go crazy. And here comes the rain. See our knowledge bars increasing, giving us more information. Alright, Saarinen really likes the gear ratios. Usually I just do a couple laps at first. Then we're going to bring them in and see what they think of the situation. It's also getting really wet out there, so we're not going to want to be using these tires anyway. Saarinen also likes his aero. Okay, we see we've got low knowledge. But we've now got a grade here. 78% for Espinosa. The handling is good, downforce is okay, top speed is okay. Well, downforce has obviously got to go higher. And after a while you can sort of gauge how much you want to move it based on how good the grade is. I don't think that's going to be enough. I'm going to try somewhere in there. Now, handling is good. We're probably not going to want to move that as much. I'm going to go with a little bit more oversteer. I don't want that much more oversteer. Let's just increase the tire pressure to get there. Okay. We want to go for more top speed, more acceleration. We really could go either way. I'm going to switch to the top speed side. Oh, maybe I'm not. I don't know why I'm moving the suspension. I need to be moving the speed. Let's try something about there. Yeah, I still want a little bit more oversteer. There we go. I think I want to try this. See how that works. Let's move to stints. And then of course you've got the whole qualifying versus race thing. Let's go out for 2 laps. I think maybe I want to balance it out. I want to get a little more qualifying knowledge in, and then switch to race for most of the rest of the practice. I don't have much practice. Redundant. Don't have much experience doing the practice thing, so I'm sort of playing this by ear, as it were. But again, this is sort of just a bit of a, you know, fly by the seat of the pants thing. I'm going to go with wet tires. I only want to use one of the wets because it's supposed to rain during the race. So hopefully we can just use this one set. But it's just practice. Okay. Yeah, Saarinen's feeling a lot better. He's already at 91%. Happy with the downforce and the speed balance, but they could be made slightly better. And then the handling needs a little bit more adjustment. Okay, I'm going to crank down the downforce just a little bit. See what he thinks about that, if it's better, if it's worse. Speed balance, let's go slightly more towards our top speed. There we go. Handling, yeah, I think that's a good attempt. Let's give that one a shot. Again, I'm going to go out with 2 laps this time, and I'm going to go on the wets there also. Okay. As soon as I make those changes, we'll get back out there. The track is getting busier, and it's also getting soaked. Saarinen out first in this particular case. So we're going to be looking to take a warm-up lap, the out lap here, go around twice, and then see what's going on. Saarinen's at a 7, Espinosa at a 5.7 right now. We've got qualifying trim level 1. It also is useful to race on the wet tires, get the drivers more used to doing the wet tires on this track, since we're expecting it to rain during the race. Alright, they're both happy with the changes so far. Not bad, we're in the top 2 positions. I could live with that. Still, no negative feedback yet. We'll finish this lap, and then the one after will bring them in. Oh, more good news. I'm loving it. Level 1 wet tires. Level 2 qualifying trim. Very nice. You see the bring in option isn't even available now. They're coming in. Speed balance has gotten worse for Espinosa. That's not good. There's still plenty of time to make adjustments, though. And we definitely want to get off the wet tires. What are we going to be doing here? Maybe. I think we'll go with inters on the next set. Be good to have them somewhat used to both wet and inters. Because probably going to be using both during qualifying and or race. Look at Saarinen, 98%. Excellent on all three. Ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm sticking right there. Let's go for a full 3 laps. Race trim. Bump it up to 8, make sure he has enough fuel to just stay out there. Intermediates. Bingo. Alright, let's see about Saarinen. Well, we're set on the downforce. The handling is close. The speed balance is horrible. Okay, so we look at the last one. We can see here, like this white one is where we are now. This is what we used for the first one. So it was good there. That's great. I think probably just a bit understeer. Probably a little bit more understeer on that. Might need to go the other way, but I'm going to say a bit more understeer. You know, I'll try the oversteer direction. I can always bring it back later. A little more oversteer on the handling. And then for the speed, thought it was okay there. It's hideous here, not even close. We definitely want more acceleration. A little more oversteer, a lot more acceleration. So let's go maybe about there, see what that does. There we are. Don't really need to change anything else. Race trim, 8 laps. Inters. Okay. Now, unless we get some bad reports from them, I think this is going to be our final run. We're going to take a few laps around as is. And move on to the next stage of this race weekend here at Sydney. Nice visuals to be able to see the rocks on the shore, the boats, sailing boats as we go by them. It's nice to see our qualifying time is still ahead of Chapman there in 6th. Well, it was. It's not anymore. Not qualifying time, practice time, but it's still a decent measure. Let's see how we do, see if we're able to make up any ground. Currently in 6th and 7th overall, which is not terrible. Saarinen likes his gearing. He should like everything. His car is set up very well. Beautiful. Espinosa could not stand her speed balance before. Now she loves it. So her car should be ready to go too. We should have a pretty strong setup. We are dropping. Espinosa ran her best lap, but we're still 9th and 10th. Of course, part of that is we are carrying quite a bit of fuel. You can see Chapman's got almost, he got 3/4 of a second lead on everybody. We're not doing too bad compared to the others. And there's our first race trim. And intermediate tires. Espinosa still happy with the gear ratios. Good for her. And of course, I don't know if those other cars are pushing themselves harder for their times. I'm not interested in pushing hard in practice. We'll push harder in qualifying, of course. And it's getting wetter, so it's getting harder to get good times. So I think we're pretty much going to be middle of the pack team in practice. Not going to impress anybody, but we'll see if this carries over. You see the difference. We're getting a lot more good information from Espinosa. Setup knowledge is great, almost perfect. Where Saarinen's really just middle of the road even after a long practice session. Looking like we really nailed Espinosa there, so I'm happy about that. Race trim level 2. Level 2 intermediates. And of course, each of those give us bonuses to how we perform with those tires for this weekend, or in the case of race trim or qualifying trim, how you perform in those sessions. And practice is now over. Just waiting for it to wrap up. Okay. Well, Saarinen down to 14th, Espinosa 16th. Not winning any awards there. Again, I'm hoping the other teams pushed their tires harder during the practice. But we will, of course, find that out soon. Must be a worried man after that practice session. No, not yet, really. Saarinen says, hope we can prove for qualifying. I expect us to do that. And Steinman, of course, with Chapman dominating the session, we would expect nothing else. You got a 200K bonus if we qualify 10th or above. Okay, well that's going to do it for this session, this episode. We'll be back next time to get the qualifying and race for Sydney, Australia going. My first competitive race in the Up in Flames Challenge. We'll see how Saarinen and Espinosa can perform for Team Scuderia Rossini. That will wait for the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.